customer service, and in the world of you want to hear from an elite SPD, what does he or she think about something? You know, what's the story on this X39? Is that the product I should start with? Who's David Schmidt? What do you think of him? Why did you join LifeWave? You know, questions like that. And those personal insights from an SPD can be invaluable. So look, I've teed this up. Look, what if you say, how often, by the way, have you ever been asked, what happens when those patches are exposed to too much heat, right? You know, they sit in the car for 24 hours or, you know, at 100 degrees. What's the answer? You know, there are sometimes wrong answers out there, but check this out. Here is the answer.
Patches work best when kept at room temperature and in their sleeve until you are ready to use them. However, even if they are exposed to direct sunlight, they will still work, unless exposed for extended periods of time of more than 7 days and at high temperatures of 100 degrees Fahrenheit or more.
Right? So there's the answer. Right? So if you ever are not quite sure what the answer is, during this pilot program, you're going to be able to send them to a dedicated site where you'll be able to fire up and go through that scroll and boom, there's the answer. So you can tell them, hey, go there, get the answer. I'm not quite sure what that answer is. Let me find another one here that I think is also an interesting one that illustrates what's the story on, you know, needing to be able to navigate at the website, the back office. Not quite sure, I don't have the confidence. And so what if you can go to the same website and you can say something like, how do I find volumes in my back office? Well, that involves knowing what to click on, what menu to pull down, things like that, and customer service has to sit there and patiently walk the caller through the process. Well, what about this instead?
To check your volumes, go to backoffice.lifewave.com. Once you're there, type in your LifeWave login credentials. Once logged in, click on the Commissions tab at the top of the page. In the drop-down menu, select the Volumes option. And there you go. You're a back office pro.
See? So it's like that. Okay, so then let's move on though. I talked about having access to maybe an SPD and you want to find out what's the story on, you know, let me see. Yeah, here we go. So I was able to capture, I told you, several SPDs, elite SPDs in Utah a couple of weeks ago. And we took Steve Merritt, he's the guinea pig here, and he's been kind enough to be one of the participants that's going to be part of this pilot program. And so he's submitted a number of questions and answers that he's typed up himself. And so we loaded one of those into here to give you an idea of what we're talking about. And so if someone asked, what made you decide to join LifeWave, right? Why did Steve Merritt and Gina join LifeWave? Here's the answer.
That's a great question, and thanks for asking. My wife Gina and I prayed and researched every network marketing company there is for over a year. We were diligently looking for the right product and technology, an honest owner who had a heart for people, and God's favor. We found everything we were looking for once we were introduced to David Schmidt and LifeWave. After we got started, we realized God's favor is all over LifeWave, David Schmidt, and all of those who decide to join us on this journey. Oh.
And then he says, hope that answered your question. Do you have another question? So it's like that.
Hope that answers your question. Do you have another?
Steve, did you do that? Anyways, beta testing by the time we roll out for the pilot program in mid to late spring. It's going to be seamless and perfect and loaded with information, but that's the key. You know, this dynamic of having that all in English is one thing. Having all this access to that information instantaneously in English, that's great for English-speaking people, right? But there's more.
Well, you know, first of all, we have Steve right here in the crowd right now, and we go back, Steve. This is my first time actually getting this close to the hologram machine. And being able to see Steve up close like this, it seemed like it's almost like you beamed in like William Shatner earlier today, right? But all at a push of a button answering that question. What I love about this is what we talk about, having a resource of growth for your business. Being able to answer these questions real time, not having to wait, in case there's, after hours or weekends. This is the opportunity for us to answer those questions, but more importantly, is being able to accelerate our growth for ourselves and our teams because that information is so accessible. And I know Steve does a lot of things, and you've been an incredible athlete, but I don't think, Steve, you speak another language, right? Well, what if we could hear this information from Steve in another language, or from another members of your team across the world hearing that information in their language? So we're going to get to see that right now, right, Jim?
Yeah, so what we did was, this is kind of a little bit of, let's call it a stunt, okay? So we took all of the folks we were able to put in front of the camera a couple of weeks ago, and we had them all say, I'm really excited about LifeWave because we're helping people live long, live well, and live young. So they're all saying that sentence, right? So first up, we have Said Hernandez, who speaks Spanish. Well, I decided to say, well, look, say it in English, and let's see what the avatar does in terms of translating that to Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado por LifeWave porque estamos ayudando a personas a vivir mucho, vivir bien y vivir jóvenes.
Now, she said that in English, but that was just translated right into Spanish.
Well, I think we should take it to the other side of the world here.
Yes, we should.
We've got Dr. Stacy Holweger. We're going to get to listen to this in Chinese.
我对生命之道感到非常兴奋，因为我们正在帮助人们活得更长、更好和更年轻。
I mean, let's face it, what is AI doing? It's somehow taking that area of the mouth and making it look like it's actually saying those words. It's ridiculously realistic. All right, so who's up next? Let me make sure I know who I'm going to be introducing here, so I say this right. Let's see. Oh yeah, Mike Hernandez now. Hey Mike, you're in the room. Did you know you speak Polish?
Jestem bardzo podekscytowany LifeWave, ponieważ pomagamy ludziom żyć długo, zdrowo i młodo.
Okay? Now this next one, I think, is a kick in the head.
Yeah, I love this one. So Roy Sojourno, I don't know where you're at right now, but did you know that you speak French?
Je suis enthousiaste à propos de LifeWave parce que nous aidons les gens à vivre longtemps, à bien vivre et à rester jeunes.
And of course, David Jumper, who's got a massive organization in Japan, and we've talked about this, at some point, wouldn't it be cool if the interface on the phone is entirely in Japanese, there are all these answers in Japanese, and there's David Jumper speaking in Japanese, all of the answers that he has to impart to the folks in Japan. That's what we're talking about here.
ライフウェイに興奮しています。人々が長く健康的に優しく生きる手厚けをしています。
Boom. Now remember what they're saying. I love LifeWave so much because we're helping people live long, live well, live young. They're all saying that, but they're saying it in a bunch of different languages.
Well, Peter, no. Welcome. Is Deutschland in the house right now? Where's Deutschland? Where's Germany? Peter, no. You speak German now.
Ich bin so aufgeregt über LifeWave, weil wir den Menschen helfen, lange zu leben, gut zu leben und jung zu leben.
It's just so cool, right? So here's Renita Brennan, who has no energy, and here she is speaking Korean.
라이프웨이브에 대해 매우 기대하고 있습니다. 우리는 사람들이 오래 살고, 잘 살고, 젊게 살도록 돕고 있습니다.
All you Koreans in the audience, I look forward to hearing back from you. Do you say that's realistic? Is that good? Oh, I got thumbs up over there. Fantastic.
All right, Steve Merritt's sitting right here with us. Well, Steve, you now speak Italian.
Sono entusiasta di LifeWave perché stiamo aiutando le persone a vivere a lungo, vivere bene, vivere giovani.
Steve, are you impressed? He's nodding his head. Yes, he is. Okay, perfect. And Romania, Lisa Wu from Taiwan.
Woo!
She's unbelievable elite SPD. She now speaks Romanian.
Sunt foarte entuziasmați deoarece noi ajutăm oamenii să trăiască bine, să trăiască mai mult și să trăiască mai bine.
Now this next one, interesting. I'm sure some of you know Mr. Ichikawa, Yumi Ichikawa, in from Japan, massive organization in Japan. Big reason why Japan took off like a rocket ship when X-39 was launched. Doesn't speak much English, if at all. But now, and he kind of played with the sentence a little bit, as you'll see, but my goodness, listen to Mr. Ichikawa speaking English.
What is wonderful about LifeWeb is that it can provide everyone with a healthier and longer happiness.
A longer and healthier happiness for Mr. Ichikawa. Who's next?
Well, we've heard from a lot of our elite SPDs, but
Yes.
why don't we hear from none other than our president, Meredith Burkich, speaking in Thai. Meredith, if you're listening, here you go.
ฉันรู้สึกตื่นเต้นมากเกี่ยวกับไลฟ์เวฟเพราะเราได้ช่วยให้ผู้คนมีชีวิตที่ยืนยาว มีชีวิตที่ดี และมีชีวิตที่อ่อนเยาว์
So there you go. So the concept, right? Kind of cool. You know, we've all heard of the concept of information halves.